On today's episode, we're diving into the real estate market this month. How's it look and what does it mean for you? Stay tuned. Hello, everybody. Peter Toering here.
And Chris Vanbelle.
And we are talking the real estate market. As Chris was just reminding me, I am now in year 3 of thinking that the market is going to dip, and I'm now wrong 3 years in a row.
That was funny the first time we talked about that. You're like, man, I think we're going to be coming into a dip here soon. 3 years ago, buddy.
Yep, yeah. So now let's jump in. March's numbers came out. Guys, things are still looking good. Interest rates are a little bit low. As you guys know that we have been in, let's jump into the first thing, which is what's the setup with new listings, man? How many homes are for sale? I have got a list of buyers that are just sitting, waiting on the perfect house to come on the market. But the good thing is houses are, and it's not a huge jump, and we wouldn't want that to be and destabilize the market, but just little by little, houses are creeping up as far as number of new listings. So that inventory is creeping out of that 30-year low that we had.
Yeah, Macomb County and Macomb Township are pretty close to each other. The county's at 2.6% up, and the township is about 3.8% up. So, I mean...
And I think the interesting stat on that, though, is, and like Chris was looking at this from a 5-year period, he's like, dude, this is not really an increase. But I think it's important to notice that we're not very much above. It's like 60 or 70 listings more in Macomb County right now, which is, or at least for March, which is traditionally a slow time, than we were in July of 2018, which is the hottest portion of the selling season.
Absolutely.
So we have more listings on the market than we did last year. Which means I would expect that this year is going to be a little bit more competitive for sellers than it was last year. You know, there's going to be the same amount of buyers or more, but there's also going to be more listings that you're competing against. So if you're on the fence about selling it, now would be a great time to get up and rolling before the rush hits here in the full spring and summer.
Right, you want to avoid all that competition. Mm-hmm. And now if we go from new listings to just in general homes for sale, Macomb Township is up over 13%. That's just crazy.
Yeah, if you are a move-up buyer, like I said, right now is and going to continue to be a good time. In that, if you're in that 275 to 375 range or 275 to 400, that's a really solid price point to be in. You know, if you bump the prices to 299 or more, Macomb Township is even up 15% in inventory. So that's definitely, of course, under 200, definitely under 150, still very tight.
Big time.
You know, and same thing with, you know, days on the market and things like that. We're actually, if you're a first-time buyer, it's definitely still going to pay to have a bulldog agent out there because first-time inventory, that 150 or less, is actually down still. You know, it's down like I think 8 or 9%.
Huge.
So, first-time buyers definitely be first or be last right now. You know, be the first one in on a deal, or I'm seeing a lot of my buyers go back and comb through old listings because once something goes stale in this market now, if they don't change price, it's going stale. It
is. And again, with our first-time home buyers, you can't be looking for this mega deal either because it's really not out there. And I'm going to say 150, 160 and under. It's just not out there. You know, with the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 houses, maybe a little.
Oh yeah,
but for the 160 below, nothing.
It's tight. Yeah, but that's where, like I said, going back and finding a property that maybe was overpriced and it's been on the market for 3-4 months, that's where I think you can get a deal. And I'm having some success with some of my buyers getting offers accepted, especially.
Depends on your concept of a deal.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's say it'd be a less competitive place to be, certainly.
Right. Well, a deal is one thing, but trying to steal it is another because there's some people trying to offer 30, 40, 50,000 underpriced, and it's just not going to happen.
You're definitely going to be at market value here still. But the one thing that you will be at an advantage at is a lot of buyers, again, because our percentage of list price, we're still at 98.8%.
Just about to go there.
Yeah. So buyers are still offering very close to full price. So if you are a seller and you're not getting any bites, if everything else looks good on your listing, might be price. And if you're a buyer and something's overpriced, no one else might offer on it until it comes down to the right price. So that's where you might have an opportunity there, buyers. It's a real area of opportunity for a lot of people. And for sellers, it's a great opportunity because you know where your price should be, because this is a little bit more anecdotal, we've said this before, once you're in that sweet spot, you are going to get offers, whether you've been on the market for 1 day or 30 days.
Oh, absolutely.
So Let's look at this too, because everyone asks about, well, is my home value going up? Sales price, guys, is still, it's not the 13% appreciation that we had from 16, 17, 17 to 18, but we're still up 5.1% in Macomb County and 4.3% in Macomb Township on those median sales prices. So that's it's not bad, guys. It's really not. It's and this is what Lawrence Yoon, who is the chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, actually predicted that basically we were going to have a year like 2015 going into 16, where it was just kind of a slow appreciation.
Yeah, and he's a really smart cat, and he's usually pretty right.
Mm-hmm.
I was just taking a look at our price per square foot, and like you would imagine in any housing scenario, over time it tends to climb. But to see Macomb County as a whole averaging $117 per square foot,
it's awesome.
That's pretty slick. And the entire MLS is 121, and Macomb Township is 139.
Which, to give you an idea of, to people that think that we might be in a bubble, which I'm not saying definitively hey, this or that. This is not even to where we were in. This is nothing unprecedented. We were at 119 a foot in October of 2005.
Right.
So, is this saying, hey, we're not blowing these, the prices out of the water where they were? So
no, with all the lending practices and stuff, things are in check a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
So they're trying to curb that. Now, will recession happen? Of course, they do happen.
And as we've said before, that does not necessarily means it will have an effect on housing. And we actually, if you want to go back, we had a podcast 2 years ago. Yeah, because we were wondering about this 2 years ago with Dawn Symington's great lender over at Mortgage One, who actually kind of broke down all of the lending practices that were happening in 08, 09 and what went wrong and why they're not going to happen again, at least to that degree. So that's a great podcast to go and listen to. Now, for sellers, we have two stats that are, of course, the real kickers. Number one is days on market, which we are at a little bit more than we were last year. Last year, of course, at that inventory low was a 30-year low days on market. Same thing for inventory. But we're at, you're at about a month, little over a month. Macomb County, you're at 38 days. Macomb Township, 41.
Now with that greater days on market, what are some of your thoughts? I've got my own on what could lead to that now.
So my thought is basically what I've been preaching now for a while is I think there's a variance of things. Number one, if you look at the median is 21 and 24. So there's a disparity between houses that are on the market for a long time and then some houses that are still very, very short. If you look at the average for 299 and up, it's 55 in Macomb County and 47 in Macomb Township. 55 days versus if you look at, on average, houses 180 and below are 30 days. So there's a couple of factors that I think are going on. Number one, a lot of these larger move-up homes are being sold. You have empty nesters. You have people that are downsizing. You've got folks that are realizing they didn't need those 3,500 square feet. There are not as many move-up buyers, which is why you can get a deal in the move-up market right now, and that's contributing to days on market. You have folks that because of and that also on the low end contributes to a lot of the competition there. You have people downsizing and in the condo market.
Well, I'm going to throw a curveball.
Yeah.
People have more fun money now, man. There's more vacations. There's more time to do BS. I can't tell you how many people, when I was mentioning, my wife and I were going on a honeymoon and where we were going, oh, I'm going there too. I'm going there too. So I think finding the right home and finding a new home isn't taking a front seat. It's taking a seat in the car, but it's not taking the front seat and doesn't have the urgency it once did because people have a little bit of money in their pocket now to play around with. And,
I think that's true.
And, they're doing other things to enjoy life at the same time.
I think that's absolutely true. And I think that actually plays right in with the reason that some of these move-up buyers are not as aggressive because number one, they're not spending as much time, like you said, at home. They're also, the ideal of that buyer has changed a little bit. They are looking for, something that's lower maintenance. They're not spending their weekends out in the lawn. They're not, wanting to spend the whole day cleaning the house. So they're wanting to stay, and and we've said this before, they saw their parents buy more house than they could afford. Mm-hmm. Buyers are making sure they live within their means. So I think that, again, this days on market is a dichotomy between houses that are in the lower end and that are priced well, and then, houses that aren't priced well are just they're not going.
No, and you can be priced pretty competitively, but at the higher end. And if you're not in the perfect location or whatever
Mm-hmm.
else,
because there's
you're
more
gonna sit for a
competition.
while.
Yeah, there's more competition. So if you are in that 350 range, you need to make sure that your house looks awesome, that you have a kick-ass agent promoting you, that you are getting every tech tool, that you've got videos with listing with video up, that you've got great professional photography. You've got to make sure that that listing looks good, because there are a ton of homes in that price range. That's one of the best price ranges to be in as a buyer right now.
Yep.
So, and it's fine to be in as a seller too if you're priced right and you're promoted right. You can still have make nice living. The other thing too is, because our market's up, seller expectations have increased as well. So you're seeing a lot of factors go into that days on market number that I think are unrelated to any kind of market shift.
I agree.
I think that there's a lot of externalities into those days on market numbers. The other one that affects our sellers is shows per listing. And I know it's kind of an odd number, but the way that it's an effective number is it basically can time out how long you're going to take to sell. So let's say that you've got the average right now is 20 showings to sell,
right?
Approximately. If you know that you want to sell in 4 weeks, you know that you need approximately 5 showings a week. Now that's not exact science, but it's rough math. And if you know that if you've gotten 35 showings in a week, maybe you're a little bit underpriced, or your house is amazing. And if you've gotten 1, maybe you're a little bit overpriced, or there's something just a little bit missing in your promotion of your listing.
And those are all possible, especially right now in this very interesting market that we have.
Now, that being said, too, there are less showings in the higher markets. You need less buyers to, I think it's by like 5 or 6. I think you only need like 7 or 8 showings on average per listing in the 400 plus range.
You got to figure 4, 5, and even 700,000, especially if you're on the water. These people know what they want, they know what they want to do, and they know what to expect.
Exactly.
And if you meet all that criteria, you're going to get a contract.
And this is what we say about selling your house in the winter. You there might be less showings, but there's also less tire kickers and non-serious buyers, things like that. So it's a great way to kind of troubleshoot your listing if you're on the market, or I guess if you listen to us, you might be one of our listings already. It's one of the metrics that we use to help troubleshoot our listings. We look at online views,
and
showings,
don't get us wrong. We get a couple listings here and there. That's it for us, and we sit and bounce it off each other, everybody in the office, and see what else we can do to make it better.
Yeah, we're constantly adjusting, and if you're not watching the market, you really need to be. So even as an educated seller, it's something that to know these stats are good to know. So. Cool, guys. I think that we've run through the stats pretty well here. I am feeling, if you ask me how I am feeling now versus how I was feeling in January about how the real estate market is, I have done a 180.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty good summer, man.
I think so too. I still think, again, is there a possibility of a dip in the future? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that I would recommend anybody, stopping from doing a home search right now because of that. I think it's still I think by the time they dip, rates will be high enough that it's going to cancel it out. So maybe you purchased it for $10,000 less, but your rate's a higher rate, and you're going to pay the same in your monthly mortgage.
Yep.
We are basically, so with rates where they are, even I just had a quote on 200,000. You're basically still paying. You're maybe $50 off what you were in June of 16 or something. The rates are so similar.
Yeah, and we get the people that are going crazy about, oh my gosh, it's hitting 5%. Now, when we see like 8-9%, then that's going to be high.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No.
Anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all the other places that you can find us. Also, listen to and subscribe to the Homes Real Estate Podcast. That's Homes, like the acronym. If we have not gone over this before, Homes is the acronym for the Great Lakes. That's why it's all in caps, if you're ever wondering that. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. Because we are the Great Lakes real estate company here at Cold Lake.
We love the state.
Oh, it's amazing. Especially, maybe not today when you woke up with snow on the ground, but when it's, 40 or 50 degrees and sunny, fine with me, man. I put a light jacket on and go, hey.
Jacket, that's shorts weather.
I like it.
After you said that.
Yeah, if you guys notice a cut, it's just because I accidentally paused the podcast, and we're not fixing it in post. Follow us on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere else you get your podcasts. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. We'll see you next time.
Take care.